Today on the podcast, we're talking about, this is the third time we've done this. So. What are we talking about?
Today, we are talking about creating a new normal in a season where things don't feel very normal.
Yeah.
We're talking about looking into the future and asking yourself, what do you want when you have just gone through a season of change? So looking at the changes that you liked, what you didn't like, and creating a life that you love for the future. We're all in this purgatory season. And so how can this...
The messy middle.
It's a messy middle, yeah. And so we can use this season for our benefit to move forward and just really create something beautiful.
Yeah. We'll hear from that after the intro.
Welcome to I Get It, a podcast for the modern woman who doesn't want to live mediocre. We're balancing babies on our hips, typing out that important email, and flipping pancakes at the same time. Not to mention, keeping things steamy with our husbands right before we put our face mask on for the night. It's not easy, and you are not alone. I'm your host, Tera Wages, and I get it. Welcome to I Get It. I am your host, Tera Wages.
I'm Wes Wages.
The one and only. And I'm sitting here laughing because we have this common struggle in our home of Wes's pants. He goes through more clothes than any other human in our home. Usually he has a rip down the seam of his pants.
Well, there's a little one.
But these are your nice pants. These are your new pair that are good and nice. And as he sat down, I noticed he got a large oil stain on the very front of your pants.
Who said it was oil?
That's an oil stain. And you have something on your shirt too. So I don't know how I'm going to get through having 3 boys. Like our clothes, y'all just destroy shoes and clothing. Wes was wearing shoes last week that had a hole like 3 inches. I don't know how his foot was even still staying in it.
I bought new shoes though.
Yeah,
See?
Sorry. I just noticed that as he sat down. If you are listening to this, you also can watch it on YouTube.
You're going to see the holes in my pants.
Where
Let me show that to you really quick.
Yeah, he's got big old holes, 3 in the butt. Yeah, thank you.
Trying to give people what they want. That's what I'm here for.
I respect it. Thank you all so much for being here and joining us
What
today.
are we talking about today? How did that even...
Well,
was that an intro for...
yeah, just because I was laughing.
We are supposed to get back to normal.
Yeah, I was just letting people know what I was going through my head in the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, today we are talking about how we're supposed to be like trying to get back to normal after a really chaotic season and what that looks like. And it feels weird and we don't know what to expect. And
we're in May now. It's like,
yeah, you keep asking, what are we doing this summer? And I'm like, I don't know, because we don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. Things are just changing so rapidly, while yet we're still supposed to be getting back to normal. And so I just really wanted to have this episode because we're having conversations in our own home about this that we thought would be fun for other couples to have as well, and just kind of have topics and a way to communicate and what we want our futures to look like. You know, I asked on my Instagram a few weeks ago, what word would you use to describe this season? You know, I shared some of the words for me, and somebody said the word growth, which I thought was really good. But a couple of people said the word realign. And I just really, really loved that, because this season has really just turned our world, our homes, our economy, our health, our perspectives upside down. And we're all shifting priorities and shifting mindsets to know, what do we want in the world? Is what we were working towards 4 months ago the actual thing that we want to be working towards? And for us, it's creating a shift, you know, like we are realizing that we had kind of gotten away from the original thing that was the priority. And so this is just a conversation starter for you. And also, I've been at like schools and different things, not right now, but previously, or seen women post like, I'm going on a date with my husband. What do we talk about?
They're going on a date with their husband.
People don't know what to talk to their spouse about anymore if they're not talking about their kids. So this is a great conversation to have that involves your kids, but you're not talking about your kids, you know, to refocus yourselves on each other and what your family is going to look like.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to briefly talk about what was our old normal. And I think that that's a good place to start in this conversation for you to think about, what were you doing? What were your priorities 5 months ago? What are some words that come to mind? I have a few. Do you want me to go first?
I mean, I'll say rushed.
Rushed. That's my second word. Yep.
Yeah. I just saw your words, so now they're influencing mine.
You cheated.
Yeah, life was chaotic a little bit. Rushed. I mean, one thing that's changed dramatically is like the morning routines. And before, it's like get 4 kids up and at them. You know, Milo wasn't sleeping through the night, our youngest, so that means you were kind of sleeping in. So I'm getting all the kids out of the house and in the morning stuff, and gosh,
rushed.
Yeah.
Another word that comes to mind for me is busy.
Yeah.
Which I always say to people, like, if I'm busy, I'm eating. You know, that was kind of my like phrase.
I've never heard you say that.
I say that to people all the time. Because
busy, I'm eating.
Yeah, because that means I'm working. I'm making money. Yeah. I'm providing for my family. So busy wasn't always a bad thing, but it does reach a point that it is a bad thing. I don't want to be known for being busy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be associated with that. And I don't want my kids to just constantly think that. Another word, impatient, you know, because we were always rushed. I'm the one screaming like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yep. Literally, my kids have heard me scream those words. And now that I'm homeschooling our kids, Olive is like working through her handwriting and she's just going so fast. And I'm saying,
slow down, slow down, slow down.
Yeah, I'm like, Olive, you don't have to go so fast. It's better to do it correctly. And it hit me like, she's going fast because her entire life I'm yelling at her to hurry up. Yeah. So yeah, I'm impatient. We had a lot of useless spending, a lot of Target runs and Amazon purchases and just different random things that we needed that we were just kind of uselessly buying. A positive thing that we used to have though was we had life in our homes. We had friendships that we were congregating in their home. They were congregating in our home. We really had a community of people that we were living life with, and that was really good. We had jobs that we really loved. So our old selves isn't just the bad things, but really the full picture of what our life used to be. We saw my family at least once a month, you know, and those things that were really helpful.
Yeah.
And so after answering that question, we move on to the next question of what has this season looked like? What has this isolation period looks like for us? And the opposite of your first word, slow.
Yeah, it's been slow. It's been easy in the mornings. You know what I mean? I would say
mornings for sure.
It's not a morning rush.
It's been more intentional. How are we spending our money? How are we spending our time? Wes, whenever because he has continued to do some work either in our home or outside of our home. And like he's been helping several churches do their live stream. And recently he was going to help a church and he said, I want y'all to be ready to go before I get there because I'm spending my time being away from my wife and Tera's home alone. And so he's being very intentional about how he's spending his time away from us to respect me. And that's something that I've appreciated so much. And not that he can't have his own time. Like I look forward to him being able to like hang out with the guys and do things again for sure. But it's just not this like constant him being gone. You know, it's not this constant thing of him
whereas before,
leaving for the sake of leaving.
If we had childcare, do you know what I mean? It's just like I know that I can carry on a conversation or I can go lunch or something like that. But
You're going and hanging out.
Yeah. But now it's like, hey, I just really need to be home as well. Right.
And when you're working, you're focused on your work is the point instead of wasting all these in-between moments, not really getting anything done.
Absolutely.
It has been lonely. We haven't had that community. a word that I thought is outside. We've spent a lot of time outside. We've been going for walks and enjoying the neighborhood that we live in. It's been messy. Oh my goodness, having everyone in our home, I finally reached a point I'm not allowed to sweep my floors until after lunch.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens at breakfast. I mean, unless things just really, really go bad, which they did yesterday with a biscuit. I have to wait until after lunch because between lunch and dinner is the longest period I will have before stuff happens, you know?
Yeah.
Our home is just constantly messy because everyone's in it right now. But we are, on the flip side, we're having more conversations with our kids.
Absolutely. Yep.
We're connecting with them in a way that we have not ever had that opportunity. I'm able to watch them learn. And I'm saying that it is a positive thing, but it has also been difficult, the homeschooling aspect of it and trying to get those routines. But the conversations that have been coming out of it and this quality time of connection has been really cool and fun.
Yeah.
And then the negative is we have had more screen time. I have spent the last 6 years in parenthood. We've never done iPads. That's just been a decision that we have made for our family to not have that kind of screen time. We don't have a TV. We do have a projector. So our kids get to watch a movie for sure, but it's not on all the time.
Yeah.
Screens were never a big part of our life. But now for Olive to do her schooling, she has to be on an iPad. So that's an introduction of something that I wasn't ready for, that I didn't want, that's now here.
Yeah.
And it's a constant like, not right now, not right now. You get 30 minutes.
Yep.
I have gotten less work time because we haven't had childcare. And so that has been difficult for me. I have definitely been much more of the hands-on parent for our family. Way more than I ever have been before. And we have not had the date nights that we used to have. That was a really important thing for us that we don't have. And so that is what our isolation period has looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And making that list for yourself, thinking of what is it for you, you know? And then you kind of combine the two. Whenever you're answering those questions for yourself, you think, what do we want from both of those things moving forward? What should our new normal look like, while still taking into account that we are going to have this like purgatory period, you know?
Yeah.
We are still going to be in this period of knowing we do still need to be mindful about going to these big stores, our trips to Costco, our trips to Lowe's, and having big gatherings of people. That's not something that we can just jump back into.
Right.
So when looking forward into what our new normal is going to be, taking into consideration the social distancing aspect and taking into consideration that I think we're at a point for a lot of people that you are going to start growing your circle, but you get to be mindful about who you put in it, which is a beautiful thing.
It's a big reset.
Yeah, it's a big reset. For some people, if you have those toxic relationships, you can be like, hey, we're still doing a lot of the social distancing. We're not ready to hang out with everyone just yet. You kind of have that excuse, truly.
Introvert's dream of like,
it is, yeah.
You know, I'm not going to look like a bad person.
Yeah. But you can choose like who those 10 people are, who those people close to you are that you can let into your circle and congregate with. You can look forward to, what do you want? And for us, some of those things are, we do want to institute a regular date night again, but it may not be in the traditional sense of what it used to be. Our income has been cut as of right now, like as much of what our business is bringing in. And for a lot of you, if you've been laid off or furloughed, lost your job, we understand. We are not in the technical sense of the word, because we're self-employed. We can't use the word that we've been laid off. But where our business is at right now, that's the category that our business falls into.
Mm-hmm.
We've had, everything was canceled. So we're having to think about how we're spending our money more wisely. So our date nights may be, like Wes cooked us a dinner. We had a movie on for the kids. They were completely entertained. We lit candles. We sat on our bar. We connected with each other. We can go to our front porch. We can kind of shift where we're going to be. We can go in our backyard, just the two of us. Really having a date night, just the two of us, but being intentional about it and saying, we are going to do this once a week.
And that's so good for our kids to see.
Yeah,
you know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Like, we just need to kind of, we typically will have a movie night a week, and maybe Friday night and Saturday night. We may do that during the week one time every once in a while now, just so we can kind of have some time for each other. And hopefully they see that, mom and papa are going,
on a date night.
on a date night,
Yeah.
they're going to the front porch. But if our 1-year-old could only understand that,
But we can do it at 7:30 when he goes to sleep,
Yeah.
And so knowing that moving forward, that is something that is important to us to do. Spending time with our core friends, we know that one of the things that we want to pull from the season into the next is moving slow, not being rushed, not adding a lot of things into our calendar, because one of my fears in moving forward is that once everything picks back up, Wes's phone, I say is hopefully, and it hopefully will be ringing off the hook for jobs. Our business needs that. But figuring out a way to where we can have the jobs that our business need, but where he is not the one who has to be pulled in 600 different directions and I'm home alone. And being intentional about when we're scheduling, how we're scheduling, and allowing those days for me to work as well. We don't want to add in unnecessary things. So thinking of the unnecessary spending we were used to doing, but we aren't anymore, how can we still implement that now? And by doing our online shopping, doing our pickup orders instead of going into the store, even though I very much look forward to the day I get to just walk around Target.
We've saved money just because you haven't been walking in Target. Hands down.
I cannot wait for that moment. But at the same time, I have a mindset change before I'm just so quick to buy something, of asking my questions like, do I really need that? Does this fit into our lifestyle, our budget? Is this just an extra thing to add into our home that I'm not going to use?
Yeah. And
so really thinking about the things that we are putting into our home and putting into our lives and spending our money more wisely.
The busier you are, the more you spend.
100%.
We've noticed that.
Also eating at home more.
Yeah.
We have continued to support our local restaurants and doing usually one breakfast and one dinner a week out in our downtown area, picking something up. But we were eating out 4 nights a week easily, eating lunch out multiple times a week.
Busy.
Because we were so busy. Exactly. And so realizing we have the ability to cook dinner at home and it's not terrible and we're doing a great job at it. So it gives us the confidence to continue doing that moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And balance screen time. So we are really looking and look at your list of which things do you want to pull from? What can you get rid of that you want to? And what can you keep that you want to? And we're debating next of what our school looks like. We're debating, are we sending our kids back to school in the fall? Are we not sending our kids back to school in the fall? And this is a question we ask ourselves once a day right now, that we probably won't know until closer to time, but we are having more intentional conversations around these big life changes to know.
We love public school and we love kind of what that brings out for our kids, but we've just noticed, props to you mostly, but we've just noticed such probably less fits, less stress in the mornings. That's been a huge thing. We've really been able to kind of learn with our kids. We've enjoyed this time. You know what I mean? The first week or two was tough, I think, that big adjustment.
Yeah, for sure.
But then as soon as you start getting into a little new routine, it's starting to pick back up. And
yeah, we believe one of our kids, we're having some stomach issues, and I think it was anxiety related at school. There's they go home every day. My stomach hurt today at school. My stomach hurt today at school, and we just haven't heard that as much since they've been home. And so taking things like that into account. And so now you have down, what do you want to see, and I really don't think that without having a plan moving forward, you're ever going to get what you want. Like without a plan, you're just floating. You're going day by day by day without a mission of knowing what you're working towards.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the things Wes and I, we are thinking, where do we want to see our family in the next year? What are our personal goals within the next 5 years? And knowing these things that we've just created, what are we going to implement to get to those things? So we are very goal-oriented people, and we have big dreams. And I'm never going to get where I want to go if I don't know where I want to go. And I actually put it down and put it in front of me where I can see it every day. And so we're currently talking about our vision board and what do we want to put on that vision board. And I know several of the things that I'm working towards to put on there. And by visualizing those things, it motivates me to work towards that. And by having this list and having these conversations, it helps us to get there.
Let me say something. 3-4 years ago, I broke my leg. And literally, life is going along. Everything's fun. So we think, and we're just doing day by day. Businesses, we're in the flow, right? You break your leg, literally, it's like, dude, you can't walk. You know what I mean? Things, and not only that, you were pregnant at the time. I mean,
let me just say for people, you think leg break, okay, that's not a big deal. He broke his leg in the worst, it was the worst type of break that doctor had seen. He was non-weight bearing for 14 weeks. It was a very big deal.
Yeah. And literally, I just kind of, God threw me on my back. You know what I mean?
Literally.
And I don't know. It was just such a good, we look back at that time and we're thankful for that because it was a good reset, you know? And I feel like right now, the coronavirus and stuff is just a reset for so many families. And I think it's just such a good thing. Obviously, this is a tough time even for a lot of families that are impacted by that. But if you are not, it's a good reset right now, just to reevaluate where you are, where you want to be, just like we've done here, and what do you want to see moving forward.
And if it has impacted your family, it is still a good reset. And I am not saying that it's easy. I am not saying that it is going to be butterflies and rainbows as you walk through it. Getting what you want in the world takes work. It takes effort. It takes getting up every single day and doing the thing even when you're tired. And that's exactly why we're creating a vision board for ourselves. So I know why I'm getting up every single day. I know what I'm working towards, even on the days that I'm tired and I'm hard, because I can literally see the thing I want in front of me. It's motivating me. And so if you've been impacted, if you've lost your job in this season, was it a job that you liked? Was it a job that you hated? Is it something you want to do moving forward? So instead of just going right back in and finding another job doing the exact same thing, what other skill sets do you have? What do you want? If you've been impacted financially in a way, but you haven't lost your job, what are you doing right now that other people can support you in? Create a side hustle, create that extra income, because maybe you've just had a pay cut. I've known several people that have just had a pay cut, but guess what? Your mortgage still wasn't cut. You just need to make up that extra money. And so look at your skill set. What are you doing that you can sell? I actually saw on Tank's Good News, I'll add the link to his Instagram on the show notes. He posted a story yesterday of a mom who lost her job. And so she's just at home working, wasting time. She built her a little miniature picnic table for the squirrels in her backyard. And so it had the picture of a little squirrel literally sitting at the picnic table with a nut. It was the cutest thing in the world. And she's selling those things. It was posted and people started contacting her because they want some for their backyard.
Yeah.
So cute. So cute. And that's such a bizarre thing. But there is something that you have the knowledge of that you can either coach people through, you can offer advice, you can create something with your hands to make up that income. So you have the ability to create the life that you want. You have the ability to create the marriage, the parenthood, the goals that you have in the back of your mind. But if you don't know where it's going, you won't know how to get there. And you won't be motivated in this weird purgatory season to get up and do the work. So as you're transitioning back into this new normal, what is that normal going to look like? And so having this conversation in your own home, think about the things you enjoyed, that you haven't enjoyed. What lessons have you learned? Where do you see yourself a year from now, 5 years from now? What are you doing today that is helping you get towards that goal? And then create a vision for yourself so you know how to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
good.
exactly what we're doing. And we are going to do it.
Yeah, Tera wants to create this little vision board where we're like, we have to go buy magazines
I'm going
first.
old school with my vision board.
So do we go into Walmart to buy the magazines?
We can do pickup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We need a doctor's office. We just need to go.
Yeah, I've already written out what's going on. I cannot wait to just sit there and like clip out my picture of an RV and just pin it to the board where I can see it every day.
That's so sexy when you say that.
I know. So
we should have the kids do the same thing.
Create their own vision board?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that and heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
can mine be yours or do I have to have my own?
Oh no, we'll create you will definitely have your thing. The RV is not for me. It'll be our vision board together, but with both of our goals on it for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that helps to at least give you some hope as you move forward, as you transition out of this. I hope that you're able to, as you make your list, to think about the things that you've experienced over the last 2-3 months and find some gratitude in it, to see some of the beauty that you have experienced and have come out of it. And again, I'm not saying that this has been easy. We have had some very hard, long days, and I get it. But I do hope that you have hope in moving forward, in rebuilding your life, and it being a life that you're excited to wake up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear people's like what they are excited about.
Yeah.
So maybe on your Instagram post or something like that, they can kind of share what they are excited about.
I would absolutely love that. And if you have not listened to our last episode, we talked about seeking help and seeking counseling. This season has created trauma for a lot of people. Businesses that have lost their business, like that is trauma. So I encourage you, if you've not listened to episode 007, to go back and listen to it, so you can get the help you need in building your life, because hope is not lost at all. So again, thank y'all for being here. If you would, we would absolutely love if you would leave us a review. You can do that through the Apple Podcast app. If you have an iPhone, it's just podcasts. Those reviews help motivate us, fire us up, and it really just helps the podcast get out and be seen.
Yeah.
And I will share from Paige Alice, maybe. Paige Alice. Thank you so much. She said this podcast is not just for married women. No, it's not. I do talk a lot about motherhood, but you can pick and choose which podcasts work for you. I'm a single 30-year-old, but I love tuning in. I particularly thought the bit about personality quizzes was helpful for all sorts of relationships. Discussing the uncomfortable and vulnerable topics keeps me coming back for more. Great job. Thank you, Paige. That means
thanks so much.
More to me than you know. So please go and leave a review. You can follow me at Tera Wages on Instagram. That's where you can find me. And we know that life is a little crazy, and sometimes you feel a little crazy, especially when you are trying to figure out what your day is supposed to look like, when it looks nothing like it did just 3 months ago.
Yeah.
You are not alone. I get it. Be happy and love each other. Peace.
I love that you do that at the end of everything. It's like...
Yep, that's it.
See ya.